everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning Blaque in once again to Authentic Black Goddess TV. I am your host, QueenAShakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you have not done so already, be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time Queen Goddess goes live. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at QueenAShakur. You can also follow the Queen Shakur fan page, and you can follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. Okay, so listen to this. Now, you all may remember that I reported on a story maybe a few months ago about a man who basically threatened to burn down his child's school because of the mask mandates. He said it was too hot and all of this, and that it was, torturous for them to make the children wear masks. I mean, which I agree. But nevertheless, he used threats of violence, talked about burning down a school. And so this was actually shared in a private chat that he was in. So anyway, they've decided they're not going to press charges against him. So let's get into it. Okay, state says Miami father's threat to burn school down over mask rules wasn't literal, so they dropped the case. Now, prosecutors won't press charges against the father who had been accused of wanting to burn down a Northeast Miami-Dade Jewish school on an anti-mask group text. Now, the state announced Wednesday that it had dropped the case against Mark Polyakov, who'd been arrested last year on a felony charge of issuing a written threat against the Sheikh Hillel Community School. So according to Miami-Dade police, he was angry because his 14-year-old son was forced to wear a mask on an athletic field. Now, in a group chat with parents, and the chat was called, by the way, No More Mask Hillel. Okay. He said, I want to burn this school to the ground. This is what they are doing, forcing mask 80 degrees. And then he says, you can't be nice, get you nowhere. And so he later wrote, I just got kicked out of Hillel. I will burn this school down. Now, I want y'all to pay attention because here's what they're trying to lie and say. They're trying to lie and say this man wasn't serious. He wasn't literally wanting to burn down the school. I'm sorry. If you say you're going to burn down the school the first time, that sounds like you want to burn down the school. But even if we say, let's just pretend that he wasn't serious. But he said it again after he got kicked out of the school once they found out about the group chat. And when he got kicked out, he returned to the chat and later wrote, I just got kicked out of Hillel. I will burn this school down. So he said it again. So I'm sorry. That absolutely is literal as far as I'm concerned. And even if it wasn't, how are they to know and determine? I mean, when people make threats, especially in a building that's full of children, that should absolutely be taken serious. But you know what? Hey, I guess he's made when he said so, right? And he's likely Jewish, honey. And so maybe he has connections or something, all right? So listen, they say, but according to Polyakov and his attorneys, he meant that he wanted to go after the school in a legal sense. Now, how does that even sound like that's what you want to do? Because if I want to go after the school in a legal sense, if that were me, I would have said, oh, I'm going to sue the school for making my child wear a mask. That's what he could have said and should have said. So they can miss me with a BS. Do y'all hear this? Now, can you imagine if I had said something like that or one of you had said something like that? I'm sure it would have been a whole nother story. So anyway, he said he meant to go after them in a legal sense, as in file a lawsuit against the school, which billed itself as mask optional. Mask mandates to protect against stupid-19 in schools have been a hot-button issue in Florida, where Governor Ron DeSantis has even chided high school students about wearing them. Polyakov's defense was backed up by another message in the text thread. Assistant State Attorney Sophie Bailey wrote in a final memo on the case, saying that the defendant clarified later in the thread that he meant to legally burn down the school. Say what? He clarified later in the thread that he meant to legally burn down the school. Okay, yeah, please miss me with it, okay? How do you legally burn down a school? I'm just curious. And they say, now mind you, they said he posted that later in the thread, but how come that wasn't reported earlier? And when they say later, you need to ask yourselves, beloveds, how much later? Later as in minutes later after he made the first two threats? Or, no, wait a minute. I just thought about something. Now, here's how you know they're absolutely lying, because when he first said that he wanted to burn down the school. He then went to the school and he was kicked out of the school. And then he went back in the same chat and said, I just got kicked out of Halil. I will burn this school down. So he said it twice. So I'm curious, how long after he made those threats did he in fact say that he was meaning it in a legal sense? I'm glad you asked. It was likely days later when someone let him know that you can go to jail for that, or someone reminded him, or when he reminded himself, maybe when he calmed down and came to his senses, he said, you know what, that's actually a terroristic threat. Okay, so let me just go say that I was joking. Now you could say that, well, he could have deleted it, but that wouldn't have done any good, you see, because someone else could have screenshot it. So rather than delete it, he simply went and put that later, I'm sure, days later, honey. This is all such BS. They know darn well that man was seriously talking about burning down that school. But hold on. Let me continue. So his defense attorney, Mark Eiglarsh, said Polyakov's arrest had been unwarranted. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. He absolutely should have been arrested on the grounds of terrorist threats and making a threat against children, no less, because the children in the school. Now, by reading all of my client's messages in context, it is clear that his sole intent was burn down the school by taking legal action and not by committing an act of arson. Lord, these people are so slick and nefarious. And you see how they use play on words? That's absolutely what they do. Let me tell you something. We all should know by now that the Mzungus absolutely do get angry enough about having to be told to do anything, because they think they should not be following rules. They think that rules are for people like us. And when I say they, I'm talking about racist Mzungus. That's what I'm talking about. They think the rules are not for them, don't apply for them. And so they don't like anyone telling them what to do ever. That's why when there's mandates, they don't want to go by it. Now, here's how you know they resort to violence. So remember in Michigan, when the governor, Gretchen Whitmer, had enforced the mask mandates, and remember how a bunch of Mzungus got together, got guns and ammunition, and they went to the Capitol. They descended upon the Capitol, and they were talking trash and making threats to the politicians. They even threatened the governor. Do you remember how one of them brought a doll that had a brown hair like Gretchen Whitmer's, and they had a noose around her neck? And do you also remember that they uncovered a plot, a conspiracy to kidnap this woman, right? And then take her off somewhere and try her for treason, and said if she was found dead or found guilty, she would be killed. Y'all remember this, right? So I said all that to say this. If those people in Michigan got so angry about mask mandates, and if we've seen numerous cases with parents, and I mean Mzungu parents, going into school board meetings, right? And getting so angry about the mandates that they too made threats of violence, why would we not think he was absolutely serious? I'm sorry, but some people wake up with violence. And when they say something that's a threat, they're absolutely serious. Now, like I said, I believe that once he calmed down and came to his senses and collected himself, he realized, oh, I better go back and, fix that real quick. I'm pretty sure that's what he did. So they can miss me with the nefariousness of it all. Because like I said, if that had been anybody other than a white person, honey, they would have been in jail. And that felony charge would have stuck. Okay? Now, I don't know how much of a punishment they would have given them. But I guarantee you, if that were a black person, that would have stuck, save for the fact that they love to give black people felonies anyway, just so you can't carry a gun or vote. And we've heard police officers on recordings saying just that. One cop said that he purposely gives black people felonies so they can't carry guns and they can't vote. Okay, that's what many of them do. So at the end of the day, this is just all so crazy because once again, I'm Mayo. So I say so. Now they're going to sit up here and tell us that they dropped the case because you shouldn't take him literally. And how do they know that they shouldn't take him literally? I'm glad you asked. Well, because he and his attorney said that. So attorneys and defendants can just go to the prosecutors now and say, oh, no, that's not what we meant. So If I threaten to kill somebody, but don't do it yet, I can just go in court with my attorney and my attorney can say, well, you shouldn't take her literally. I mean, she meant kill the noise, not literally them. Or she meant kill them with kindness, not literally kill them as in murder. Is that what we can do now? I guarantee you we can't, but it looks like they can. So anyway, that's real crazy. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and conclude this broadcast because I cannot with the devils. I mean, they lie, they change narratives, they push agendas. And as we can see, they clearly use their privilege in every chance they get. But they want to act like they have done. And when we complain about them using their privilege to get away with things that we had to pay consequences for, then they say we're playing the race card. Please miss us with all of it. Anyway, everyone, please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click the notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Also, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at QueenAShakur. You can also follow me on Twitter at TheGoddess27. And make sure you subscribe to my spiritual channel. Okay, Queen Amadai TV presents more than meets the third eye. And also my paranormal channel, Queen Amadai TV presents Beyond the Realm. Okay, and I also have a true crime channel. So anyway, make sure you subscribe to those channels and make sure you're also double checking to make sure you're still subscribed to the channels, especially if you have not been receiving notifications, because that could absolutely be the reason why. Okay, so have a blessed and wonderful day, everyone, and I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.